He's dead. He didn't go very far. Matt. Oh, smoked him, Jeffrey. Let's go. Oh my gosh. Matt. Smoked him. Oh, that's awesome. Holy smokes.
I just got an arrow on that buck I had an encounter with last week.
What a year. This is pretty awesome. I'll give this a thumbs up.
That's some big ones.
Jeff, give me some.
Jeff, doubled up.
Give me some.
How crazy is that?
Just had to sit down. I just shot the short time 10.
I'm pumped. Oh man.
Matt.
Good job.
It's a good deer. I'm out at my new farm that I was able to purchase last December.
Today's main goal is to get a few more cutting link cameras out and get some mineral out so we can hopefully try to locate that buck that we call Lazy Boy.
Thinking about the upcoming 23 season. Super excited. Looking forward to 2 days of velvet filming. It's time to get those cameras out and try to find some of the bucks from last year, see what made it through, and find some new target bucks.
The target buck that I'm after, he showed up this week on my camera in the back food plot there by the scrape.
Jackson and I are out today moving some of our cell cams around. Season's gonna be coming up pretty quick on us.
This is just a good central area on the farm. A lot of deer come cruising through here during the rut, and then late season they load up on this food source.
Super excited to get started this year. Season's getting really close. Less than a month away now, so.
Pretty optimistic this year that one of these food plots could bring in one of the mature bucks that we've had on the hit list, but I know the big ones are still around.
My top target this year is going to be a buck that I call Outpost. Just a really neat, wide buck. He's right up at the top.
We picked up a new lease, so we're getting things done. I'm really excited about this spot. We've had some really nice bucks on camera and a lot of bucks. So we got 3 on our hit list so far that we'll be going after on opening day. So if they continue to do what they're doing, we should have a pretty good chance at it.
Welcome back to another season of the Heartland Show on Midwest Whitetail. You know, it was no doubt that the 22 season was one for the books, but I think I can speak for the whole team when I say we're really excited to kick off the 23 season and share it with you guys here on the channel. And I won't waste any more of your time. We'll jump right into this year's stories. We kick them off on the first episode of the year right now.
What's going on, guys? Out here at the home farm today. Just wanted to give you guys kind of a recap and an update of what we've all done here at the home farm this year. Made some pretty big changes, especially up in the main food plot here at the home farm. Brought the excavator in and dug in a water hole. Knowing that it was gonna kind of be a really dry year, I thought it'd be a good addition to that food plot up there, and so far it has been unreal how much the deer have been using it. Another thing, did a lot of clearing up at the upper food plot and actually moved the blind back. Kind of always felt that the deer kind of felt a little too pressured by the blind being closer. So ended up moving that back. Like I said, we put in that water hole. I think that water hole is probably about a 25-yard shot from the blind now. Basically put that water hole right where the blind used to be. Super excited to see how that helps this year during hunting season. Like I said, so far this year, it's made a huge difference as far as getting deer to come from the neighbors and this and that. So after we put that water hole in, a couple weeks later, we came out and actually put a plot screen in between one of the neighboring properties and I, just to make these deer feel a little safer. We used the Monster Buck food plot screen mix, and it did come up pretty well. As dry as we've been, it does look a little burnt, but most of it is anywhere from 5 to 7 feet tall. So pretty happy with that for the first year. Definitely going to continue to try to use that stuff and, just like I said, help the deer feel a little bit more comfortable. After we put that food plot screen in, I think it was about 2 weeks later, came in and mowed all the food plots and used the mower, got them all mowed down that same day, sprayed the food plots, and also put up a vine scrape, as you can see over my shoulder here. Really like those vine scrapes. Just kind of started using them last year and maybe the year before that. I know Caleb is a huge user of those vine scrapes, and so far it has seemed to be a good attractant just for them, because they always come through these food plots or whatever, and they always seem, when they walk by, that they hit them. So after the food plots got sprayed and mowed, waited 2 to 3 weeks, I think. Tried to kind of wait for a rain more than anything right before I planted these food plots. As you can see, even without the rain, these food plots are coming up pretty good. Ended up using the Monster Buck brassica mix. Kind of a huge fan of brassicas up in the upper food plot. I do have some clover on the interior of that food plot, and then brassicas bordering that. In the main part of the food plot at the home farm, I did tear up all the clover this year. Didn't get a chance to come in and frost seed it, so the clover was kind of non-existent, you could say. So really excited to come in and see how this water hole does for me this year, and hopefully start getting some bigger deer on camera. I personally have not gotten any shooters on camera at the home farm yet. A guy that hunts the neighboring property and I talk back and forth, and he's sent me a couple really nice deer, but like I said, me personally, I haven't got any pictures of them yet. But like I said, some really big changes to the home farm this year, mainly up at that main food plot with the water hole and moving that blind back. So super excited to get started this year. Season's getting really close, less than a month away now. So hopefully here in the next few weeks, start getting some pictures of some bigger deer. That's kind of how this home farm is for the most part. Once they start moving around and start getting their home ranges figured out, velvet shedding, it seems like a few more deer start showing up. So hopefully here in the next couple weeks before season, start getting some bucks on camera, and hopefully we'll be able to share those with you guys here in the next couple weeks.
Welcome to Midwest Whitetail, the Heartland Show. It's July 24th today, and me and Dad are up here at the farm getting some projects knocked out of the way, and today's main goal is to get a few more cutting link cameras out and get some mineral out so we can hopefully try to locate that buck that we call Lazy Boy. For anyone that's not familiar with this buck that we call Lazy Boy, we first started getting pictures of him back in 2020, not too far from where we're standing at right now. The first time that we got pictures of him, he actually bedded down in front of our camera, and that's where the name stuck. We actually ended up having several encounters with him that fall. The first encounter with him, he came from a different ridge, and he was heading back into this bedding area that we were sitting on the downwind side of. He was going to be too far away for a shot, so I called to him, and he actually kind of turned and came our way, but he ended up circling too far out of range and then headed away from us. That first encounter was on Halloween, and then just over a week later, on November the 7th, we actually had a second encounter with him from that same spot. He came down from that other ridge again, but instead of cutting across the ditch onto our ridge, he hung up on that other side and stayed down in that valley. He kind of went past a scrape that was there that at the time we didn't really know was there, and then he headed away from us. After that encounter, we decided that we needed to try to be over on that opposite ridge over there, so we ended up going over there, hanging a stand, and then on, I believe it was November 11th, the afternoon hunt, Dad had an encounter with them behind a doe. They came from the opposite direction that he had came from in those previous sits, and unfortunately for us, the doe cut up to the field before coming into our shooting lane, and then he followed her, and that was the last encounter that we had during the 2020 season. Well, after all those encounters during the 2020 season, going into the 2021 season, that was going to be the main deer we wanted to put all our effort into trying to see if we could get a shot at. We started getting pictures of him sometime, I believe it was in September, after he was already hard-horned. We had been watching a deer that we were getting pictures of pretty regularly all summer, and we actually thought it might be him, that he looked very similar, but we later found out that those were two separate deer, and that smaller deer that we thought was him, we ended up just calling look-alike just because he looked so similar to that buck that we called Lazy Boy. He actually came in November 10th, both him and look-alike behind a doe, and he kind of ran look-alike off and then actually came almost to the base of our tree. He was at probably 15 yards or so, and I decided to try to get to full draw when he was behind this one tree because I was afraid that he was going to cut after that doe and be through my opening before I had a chance for a shot. And unfortunately, as soon as I went to draw, he picked me off and took off, and that was it. That was the last encounter we had with Lazy Boy in the 2021 season. Late November of 2021, I actually ended up killing that buck that we called Look-alike. And then after that, our focus reshifted to Lazy Boy. We started getting pictures of him in velvet up in the same area that we were having the encounters. But then as the season opened, he kind of disappeared and shifted to a different area of the farm, a little further away. We still kept getting a few pictures just here and there, but nothing real consistent. And then after the rut started, he just completely vanished, and we haven't had any sighting, no picture of anything of him since. We haven't seen anything that gives us any indication what happened to him, so as far as we know, he could possibly be still in this area. So that's why we're gonna get these cutty back cameras out and get this mineral in, and hopefully we can start getting some pictures of this deer to confirm that he's still around, and hopefully we'll be able to hunt him this fall. So we're gonna go ahead and see if we can get some of these cameras hung and see if we can hopefully get a picture of him here in the next few weeks. The last project that me and Dad want to get done today is hang this vine here, and this is in a spot that I feel like if Lazy Boy's still around, it's probably going to be our best chance to have an encounter and possibly even get a shot at him. We got a stand set up here at about 20 yards from where we're standing at right now, and it's just a basic field edge setup. There's a big trail that runs parallel to the field just inside the timber that a lot of bucks like to use for scent checking the field and the bedding area that's down inside the timber. And you're able to get shots into the timber and then also out into the field. It works great for using a decoy, and it's just all around just a really good setup. But hopefully we can start putting some more pieces together, and hopefully he'll show back up and we can continue the story of this buck that we call Lazy Boy. Thanks for watching Midwest Whitetail, the Heartland Show.
Well, welcome back. Just wanted to give you guys a quick update. It is the last weekend of August and I'm back over here at the Lease trying to finish up the food plots that I've been working on out on the island. We got a pretty good chance of rain coming in this evening and then tomorrow morning. So I've got the monster buck rut greens that I'm trying to get planted. I spread just a little bit of it last weekend when I was here, but we didn't get any rain this week. But pretty good chance the next couple of days. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to put the rest of that down. I've got basically 2 food plots on the island, one in the front and one in the back. The back one I prepped with a weed eater. I didn't spray any of it. I just knocked the cockleburs down with the weed eater and I'm gonna put the seed down there. The front one I sprayed with weed killer but didn't really hit it with the weed eater. So when I get over there today, I'm gonna look and see if I wanna hit the front one with the weed eater, knock it down, or just let it go and let everything die off and let the seed do what it's gonna do. This area receives somewhere between 15 and 20 inches of rain. So I still got good soil moisture. I just got to get good. Fixing to jump in the boat, paddle across, and we'll see what it looks like when I get over there. Okay, well, I've made it out here to the island, and I think what I'm going to do is the front food plot here that I just sprayed, I didn't really hit much with the weed eater at all. Looks like it's dying off pretty good, and in fact some of the seed that I put down last weekend has already germinated and started to come up, so I guess there was better moisture there than I thought, so that's promising. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the back food plot, just spread that seed. I've got it all knocked down with the weed eater. Hopefully I can get the seed around the thatch laying on the ground where I get good soil contact. Doctor up that scrape back there and then come up here, and I think what I'll do is spot spray some of the areas that I've missed and go ahead and seed this real heavy too. And if we get rain tonight, I think we'll be in good shape, and then hopefully we get some rain for the next couple of weeks to keep it growing. The target buck that I'm after, that I hunted last year, I never had an encounter with him last year, but I got multiple trail cam pictures. He showed up this week on my camera in the back food plot there by the scrape. He didn't actually work the scrape, but he was in that area, and he is really put on some inches this year. So I figured he was probably, I wasn't sure last year if he was a 4-year-old, but I know for sure he's probably, after seeing what he turned into this year, I really think he's probably a 5 or 6-year-old deer. So, but he's by far the biggest deer we have on camera down here this year, and he was last year too. So hopefully if I can get this food plot established, that maybe I'll get a chance at him. So I'm going to try to get all this done and then get out of here. Might come back in probably 2 or 3 weeks, middle of September, and top dress it with some wheat and hit them other areas I was talking about that's going to be wheat only, and then try to stay out of here until I start getting some daylight pictures of him, and we'll see what happens.
All right, guys. Well, it's nice to be back this year, 2023, bringing you guys more content. Super pumped to still be a part of the Heartland show here and be a member of Midwest Whitetail. So some of you are probably thinking here, you just saw me mow down some really nice beans. You're probably thinking, this idiot, you know, he's complained about not being able to grow beans for, you know, however many years it's been here on the show. And now that I finally get a bean plot, I just mowed some down. But The thought here is common area. These beans are super tall. They're obviously going to continue to be a problem here for seeing the deer out in them. They're at least that tall. Even as they dry out, I think it'll be difficult to see the deer. So I wanted this common area to hopefully draw these deer as kind of a little social area in the middle of this plot, right in front of the blind here, where these deer can come in and hopefully offer a shot. I mowed 2 trails, as you guys see. One's going into right into an opening where there's a real big bedroom that these deer primarily come out of, and then this second trail here I mowed into a trail into our CRP where these deer can kind of tend to funnel out. So the reason I hurried up and did this today, right on cue, is we were supposed to get rain tonight, and it is raining right now. This is the first rain we've had. It's probably been a month since we've had rain. It got really wet there when we needed it to, and now it's been bone dry and hot. So I wanted to get out here and get this seed on the ground in hopes that we got rain, and you know, pretty awesome timing. We're getting it right now. So I'm still gonna go get the Cold-Packer and pack this down just to help get that seed to soil contact a little better. So I'm gonna go get that and let this rain kind of do a little bit of the work for me, and we'll catch up with you guys here in a little bit. Well, that's gonna wrap up today's episode of the Heartland Show. You know, we really appreciate you guys coming back for another season and tagging along with us here as we share our stories through the channel with you guys. You know, we're really looking forward to this 23 season, like I said earlier. So it was good to see the guys out working again and starting to lay that foundation for another season. And I know next week we've got another good episode for you guys, so get used to start checking back in with us every Friday as we bring you guys along on the action. Next week we're going to check in with Thad DeMoss and his son Jackson. A lot of you know Thad has been a member of the team for a long time, with, you know, probably the longest actually. So Thad's a great guy, so looking forward to see what he's got in store. And we're also going to check in with Brooks Cahoe as he kind of goes through his season and how his story is going to unfold this year. I know he's got multiple tags to fill and some new farms to hunt, so looking forward to hear that. And I'm sure we'll check in with some other guys as well. So you know, like I said, we'll see you guys right back here next week. Appreciate you guys checking out this first episode, and thanks again for watching the Heartland Show on Midwest Whitetail.